My name is Kenny. So I worked at a theme park for about 4 years, and I saw a whole bunch of things there.
Hi guys, my name is Courtney. My first memory is me waking up in the dark with several people around me, and they're like, he's waking up. And then they all disappear, and I close my eyes and it's morning. This is my ghost story.
I worked at a kids ride, one of the larger ones in the park. Before it was open, we started working on it during construction, and it was kind of creepy while it was being built, so we were kind of like making up ghost stories. They weren't real, it was just for fun because we were bored. And we kind of made up this ghost character called Toby, who's like a little boy who like haunted the ride. We never actually saw anything until about a month into the ride where this big event happened. Basically what happened is I was at the control panel of the ride, the main control panel, and to my right was somebody who was watching like the video monitors of the ride because we have cameras all over the ride. The guy working it was pretty new, and the guy told me, he said, there's a kid in the ride, like we have to emergency stop. So I pressed the emergency stop and we start doing evacuation procedures. 2 people go into the ride and they talk to the kid. And they tell us over the radio the kid is really, really scared and they just want to like give him a minute to calm down before we take him out. So we start evacuating the rest of the people who are sitting on the ride, and then they get back up to the control panel and the guy at the video monitor says, the kid's not there anymore, you have to go look for him. So the 2 people who were walking around the ride, they go back in and they don't find the kid. Our managers get here, we explain what's happening, there's a kid in the ride and we can't find him, so our managers say, we have to keep looking for him, and we go around the ride like 3 times and we can't find the kid. The guy at the video monitor says he doesn't know what happened, he just kind of blinked and the kid faded away, so we kind of evacuated the ride for no reason. That was pretty scary. Before I worked there, I wasn't too much of a believer, to be honest, in like paranormal things. And even when the things first started happening, I was kind of in denial. I think the thing that really like convinced me that like ghosts are real is like the little boy showing up and, you know, everyone seeing him and him just disappearing like that.
I lived in Jamaica. I lived with my grandmother, my grandfather, and their immediate family. And so it was my grandmother's house. We lived on a farm. It was beautiful. We always kind of like hung out and played around with like the animals and helped out with everything. And I mean, even at 6, you kind of have to work. So it was a pretty easy and nice life. I don't think I really had any complaints with anything. When you are sleeping though in these rooms in Jamaica at that time, there was just like no light entering at all. Like you just kind of had to basically imagine anything if you were awake. So I couldn't see anything in my view, couldn't see my hands, couldn't see the bed. It was pitch black. And I remember hearing noises in the closet. And so I don't know, I wasn't scared in the beginning, but I got out of bed and I just kind of felt around, and as I'm looking towards the closet, I could see this figure, and it looks like, have you ever put your computer on sleep mode and then all of those colors just kind of happen to like be there? That's what it looked like, except it was all in the shape of like this really big figure, and it had giant horns. And I didn't know what to do with it because I've never seen this, and I'm 6 years old. I just remember putting up my hands and saying, come on, and I run towards it, and it hit me. And I flew back towards the bed, and I just remember feeling the most immediate fear. It was crazy, and so I crawled back into bed, covered myself with the sheet, and just prayed as if I knew what prayer was at that time. And I never really spoke about it to anyone that was there. I just kind of got up the next morning, never said anything, and the next night I went back to bed, but I was so worried that it would happen again that I just stayed in bed and I was awake. I couldn't go to sleep, and I just remember seeing figures in the corner of the wall, and there were faces, and it was just red, yellow, black. And at this time, remember, you cannot see anything at all. I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. It was so dark, and yet I could see these figures. That was my experience in Jamaica, and so years later, moving to Tampa, I was hanging out with one of my friends. My place was getting renovated and I couldn't stay there anymore, so he was like, oh, just come here, it's not a big deal. And I was like, okay, great. So he's sleeping on the couch, I'm in his bed, and all I hear is this sound, and it's going mum, 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 mum. And I was like, what is he doing? And as I'm getting up, I see a figure, and it's about this big. It looked like it was wood, and its mouth was triangle, and its eyes were the same way, and they were all black, and it just had black markings all over him, and he had little tiny arms, and it was like pressed against his body. I have never jumped so high. All I saw was it run off, and I panicked, and my friend runs into the room, and he goes, what's happening, what's wrong? And I was like, you didn't just see whatever that was. It ran into the room, you were there. And he was like, oh my gosh, it was probably just a ghost. And he closes the door, and I was like, oh my God. You have seen this stuff already in the apartment and you're still here? I never went back. As I've gotten older, I have seen so many different things and that I cannot explain. I just let it happen as it goes, and hopefully they don't try to possess me or attack me, and I'm good, because I've heard some pretty insane stories and people have like marks on their body, and I'm like, I don't want it, I don't want it.